Hey guys, what's going on? It's MJ's Thoughts, a new video series coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Look, this new video series, MJ's Thoughts, is a new initiative from us at MassiveJoes, a little bit different to our other video series that we do on YouTube and the MassiveJoes.com website. Our other video series tend to be shorter videos, a little bit more entertainment based. MJ's Thoughts is going to be more information based videos. So these videos are going to be a little bit longer, a little bit more information, or a lot more information, and really it's an opportunity for us to discuss and address questions from the viewers at home that really demand a lot more attention and a lot more information. So MJ's Thoughts, we're going to go a little bit more in depth in certain topics and certain questions. We're going to take a little bit more time with our videos and really deliver to you the information that you need to help you reach your health and fitness goals. So first episode of MJ's Thoughts going to be on the bulking Bible. So this episode is going to be really the basics or the foundation of exactly how to build muscle. How do you actually structure a bulk? So I'm going to go through everything that you kind of need in terms of a foundational base of tools to allow you to build muscle. So the first thing we're going to address, and this is in order of priority as well, the first thing we're going to address is diet. The second thing we're going to address is training, and the third thing we're going to address is supplements. So hopefully by the time this video is over, you've got yourself an arsenal of tools that you can use to get you some gains, effectively, help you build some muscle over the Australian winter. And for the US viewers, we know we've got a lot of US viewers that tune into our YouTube channel at home. Man, I know it's summer coming up there, so maybe watch this video and just put it in the bank, and you can hit on it this time or in 6 months when you're trying to bulk. But anyway, let's get to it. So the first part of bulking, in terms of order of preference, in order of priority, is diet. I mean, you cannot build muscle if your diet is not correct. You just can't do it. It's like trying to build a house without bricks, man. Just not going to happen. So the first thing we're going to talk about is diet. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to understand when it comes to diet to allow you to bulk, to allow you to build muscle. The first thing is caloric surplus. Now, caloric surplus effectively means your body is in a state within any 24-hour period where you are consuming more calories than you're burning in any 24-hour period. So you are giving yourself more calories than your body is using within any 24-hour period. And that is what we call a caloric surplus. If you are not in a caloric surplus, you simply cannot gain weight. It just won't happen. Like I said, it's like trying to build a house without bricks, man. Just not gonna happen. So how do you get yourself into a caloric surplus? All right, the first thing you need to do is, and I suggest this to all of our clients, all of our customers who are trying to build muscle, is take a good 2 to 4 weeks and get yourself a meal diary. Keep yourself a meal diary. Write down everything that you put in your mouth, right? Assuming that you're currently in what we call maintenance calories. So your body weight's not changing, it's consistent, and this is usually when people come to us and say, I want to bulk, I don't know what I'm doing. Your body weight's consistent, so you're consuming enough calories to satisfy your calorie expenditure. That is what we call maintenance calories. So your calories in are equal to your calories out. You're in maintenance calories. So you have to figure out what your maintenance calories are. And that's why I recommend taking yourself 2 to 4 weeks before you even start your bulk. Keep yourself a meal diary, get yourself a book like this, and write down everything that goes into your body and how much it weighs, of course. Then you can hop online. There's a bunch of awesome calorie counters online. CalorieKing.com is a really good one. Just Google it. Google how many calories in whatever food you've written down, and you can figure out exactly how many calories you are consuming per day to keep you in this maintenance level. That's going to take you about 2 to 4 weeks to do it correctly, and you want to make sure that in this time, of course, myself some aminos, is ensuring that your body weight's staying constant. So that's when you know you're in maintenance calories. Then what you do, you figured out how many calories per day is going to get you in maintenance calories. What we generally like to do with people is go, okay, now we're going to plan your bulking diet. We're going to put you into a calorie surplus, and what we're going to do is we're going to go 500 calories above your maintenance calories. So these are your maintenance calories here. We're going to go and put you in a calorie surplus, 500 calories above your maintenance calories. And that's where we're going to start. So you're going to consume 500 more calories than your body needs each and every 24-hour period to maintain body weight. That's going to put you in that caloric surplus. So that's the first thing, ensuring that you're in a caloric surplus of about 500 calories is where we like to start. Then a lot of people ask, okay, look, I've got that all sorted. I've got my maintenance calories, I've got my caloric surplus. What about the whole protein, carbs, and fats thing, man? Like the macronutrient timing. How many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs, how many grams of fat should I be aiming for within each 24-hour period? This is quite simple as well. I mean, you know, a lot of it does depend on genetics, depends on your metabolic capacity genetically as well. But what we tend to like to do, and it's a real general rule of thumb, and it is going to work, absolutely no doubt about it, is going to work, and it's a good place to start, is once you've got your caloric surplus, you know how many calories you're consuming per day, then you can go and you can break it down. You can go, all right, I want to get 40% of those calories from protein, 40% of those calories from carbs, and 20% of those calories from fat. Now, I know that, you know, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this on our YouTube channel because there's just trolls and trolls like trolls will troll, but it's a good place to start, okay? So 40% of your calories from protein, 40% of your calories from carbs, and 20% of your calories from fat. Now, you have to keep in mind that a gram of protein is worth 4 calories, a gram of carbs is also worth 4 calories, and a gram of fat is worth 9 calories. So if you were to do the maths, you just have to keep that in mind. I'll just do a quick example for you just to tell you, you know, where these numbers kind of fall in place. Let's take, for example, the person who has a bulking diet of 4,000 calories. So they're consuming 4,000 calories a day, and that's their calorie intake or calorie input, puts them in a caloric surplus. 40% of that 4,000 calories is 1,600 calories. So that's how many calories you want to get from protein. It's also how many calories you want to get from your carbs. So you take that 1,600 calories, divide it by 4 to figure out how many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs you need. That's going to give you, if you divide 1,600 by 4, it's going to give you 400 grams of protein and 400 grams of carbs per day. Then that last 20% of those calories is going to come from fats. So 20% of that 4,000 calories is about 800 calories. 800 calories divided by 9 calories is about, what does that work out to? About 80 grams of fat per day. So that particular person, as a good place to start, will be looking for 400 grams of protein per day, 400 grams of carbs per day, 80 grams of unsaturated or good fats per day. That's how they break down their macronutrients to get them in that caloric surplus. So that's just a real good example for you to use. Look, if you didn't catch the numbers, press pause now, grab yourself a pen and a calculator, go back and watch that little bit again, make sure you know exactly where those numbers came from. That's a good place to start. In terms of where those protein, carbs, and fats come from, look, man, Google, once again, fantastic place to find out, you know, how much chicken do I have to eat to get myself 50 grams of protein? How many grams of sweet potato do I need to eat to get myself 100 grams of carbs? I mean, Google is fantastic. Use that, and then you can get exactly, you know, what foods are going to fit into that macronutrient plan that you've got per day. So that's how you get your macronutrients. The next thing that we always get from people, man, is they'll go, yeah, fantastic, I've done that. I went 500 above my calorie maintenance. I had my protein, carbs, and fat. I put on 5 kilos in the first 2 months, and then I plateaued, and then I stopped. One thing you have to keep in mind is if we talk about maintenance calories and calorie surplus, your maintenance calories start here. This is your output, this is your intake. You go to calorie surplus by 500, and you start putting on weight. Now, when you start putting on weight, you start putting on muscle. What happens is those maintenance calories climbs up. So it climbs up as you get heavier, as you build more muscle, to a point where what originally was a calorie surplus of 500 calories is now maintenance. So you have to keep, if you want to keep bulking, if you want to keep gaining weight, you have to keep going above with your calories. So when you reach those sticking points, when you reach those plateaus, in terms of your diet, you got to push your calories up more, push them up more, push them up more. I mean, it depends how quickly you gain weight, but a real good rule of thumb when you're bulking, especially when you're on a long bulk, say a 20-week bulk, is just to make sure you're increasing calories by, you know, 20 calories per week, 50 calories per week, 100 calories per week, whatever you need to ensure you are continuing to gain mass, gain muscle, and gain weight throughout your bulk. So make sure that you are continually pushing yourself into a calorie surplus, and that's a really good way to avoid those plateaus that can occur during the bulk. Another thing we get always with bulking is, especially from guys in particular, is they go, look, I want to bulk, but I don't want to gain a lot of body fat. Look, there's a couple of ways. The first thing you have to understand is, especially as a natural athlete, when you are trying to build muscle, is there's always going to be some sort of fat gain associated with it. Whenever you're in a calorie surplus, not all of those calories are going to be used by your body to build muscle. So there's always going to be a little bit of fat gain that comes along with the bulk. That being said, bulking, or should I say bulking or off season, is never an excuse to go and eat whatever the hell you want and gain all kinds of fat, because when it comes to dieting and getting lean, trying to cut up again later on in the year or next year, or whenever you decide to do it, it's going to be that much harder. So you have to be realistic and know that you are going to put on a certain amount of body fat. But like I said, if you follow the calorie surplus, 500 calories in surplus, and then continually increase week by week, depending on how your body reacts and how you put on weight, your fat gain is not going to be that substantial. But don't use bulking or off season as an excuse to eat whatever the hell you want, because you will gain a bunch of fat. The last thing with diet, and this is particularly important at the moment because there's a lot of stuff going around, it's in fashion at the moment, the whole meal timing discussion on Facebook and social networking at the moment, in particular intermittent fasting is a big thing at the moment, is meal timing. Okay, so you know how many calories need to be in surplus, you know where your proteins, your carbs and fats are coming from, how many meals per day do you need to eat to be able to build muscle. And look, to be completely honest with you, so long as you're in that caloric surplus within any 24-hour period, and so long as you're eating your required amounts of protein, carbs and fat within any 24-hour period, within reason, it doesn't really matter how many meals you get those calories in. And when I say it doesn't really matter and within reason, I mean within reason. I mean, if you're trying to fit 4,000 calories, 400 grams of protein, 400 grams of carbs and 80 grams of fat into one meal per day, that's completely ridiculous because you just won't be able to do it. It's a stupid amount of food. You just won't be able to do it. And then if you are actually some world-class eating champion and you are able to consume that much food in one sitting, your body is just not going to absorb all the protein, the carbs and fats. It's just not going to happen. A lot of it is going to be passed through your digestive system as waste. Your body does not have that many digestive enzymes to be able to digest all of those macronutrients in one sitting. So within reason, meal timing doesn't really matter. What we tend to suggest when bulking is try and eat as frequently as you can. So if you can eat every 2 hours, man, fantastic, eat every 2 hours. If you can eat every 4 hours, fantastic, eat every 4 hours. If you're stuck with 3 meals a day, man, that's all you can do. You can just do, because of work commitments or whatever, you can only get breakfast, lunch and dinner, and that's it. Do breakfast, lunch and dinner. I mean, a fantastic example myself is I used to work for an oil and gas company. I used to work in oil and gas out in the field or in the mines is another good example. And I could only ever get breakfast, lunch and dinner. I couldn't eat throughout the day because I was out in the field doing certain things. I just wouldn't be able to stop and eat. So when I was bulking back then, when I used to work out in the field for that oil and gas company, that's what I did, was I knew my caloric surplus. I knew how many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs, and how many grams of fat I needed per day, and I just split them up into 3 meals. They were massive meals, and I felt disgusting after eating every single one of them, but that's what worked for me at the time. So, you know, whatever works for your lifestyle, your commitments, whatever they may be, so long as you get those calories and the protein, carbs, and fat within any 24-hour period, you will gain muscle mass, you will bulk, you will put on weight. So that's pretty much the whole thing with meal timing. Like I said, the whole intermittent fasting thing, yeah, it's fantastic for losing body fat. I don't recommend it when you're trying to bulk, just because you can't fit that many calories within a 6-hour eating window. You're just not going to do it, and your body's not going to absorb all the macronutrients. So that's pretty much diet all wrapped up. I've got to get myself some more aminos. This is a long MassiveJoes thoughts. The second thing you got to think about when you're trying to bulk, when you're trying to build muscle, is training. Now this is, training, a lot of people overthink the whole training thing. The reason why I just spent 15 minutes talking about diet is because diet is the most important. Once you've got that sorted out, the training thing is real simple. So training is real simple. General rule of thumb, what we say for everyone is train one muscle group per week. And in terms of how you split that up, there's one golden rule that you have to keep in mind. The first thing you have to recognize is your body does not build muscle during your workouts. When you train, when you go and train and actually lift weights in the gym, you are breaking down muscle tissue. Okay, you are stripping muscle tissue, you're breaking it down, you are damaging muscle tissue. And then when you rest, after your workout's finished and you rest, your body rebuilds and re-heals that muscle tissue. And if you're eating correctly, you're in a calorie surplus, re-heals and rebuilds bigger, and that is how you build muscle. So you don't build any muscle when you train, you build muscle when you rest. So once you understand that concept, it becomes real easy to understand the concept of direct and indirect muscle stimulation. Let me give you an example. When you train chest, you are directly stimulating your chest muscles. You are indirectly stimulating your deltoids and your triceps. When I say that, I mean, obviously when you're training chest, your chest muscles are what you're trying to work. But without consciously doing it, you are also going to stimulate some deltoid through all of your pushing movements and your flying movements. You're also going to stimulate some tricep through all of your pushing movements. So you're directly stimulating chest, you're indirectly stimulating your deltoids and your triceps. Another good example is similarly with back. Whenever you train back directly, you're going to indirectly train biceps. Whenever you train quads directly, you're going to indirectly train hamstrings. Those are probably the three biggest ones. You have to keep that in mind when planning your training split. So for example, you would not want to train chest on a Monday and then triceps or shoulders on a Tuesday, because you're not giving your triceps and shoulders enough time to rest, rebuild and repair muscle tissue in between being indirectly trained with chest and directly trained the day after. So when you go and set up your training split, training each muscle group directly one time a week, have to keep in mind what is also getting indirectly hit. So when you go and you plan your split, a real good example, this is just a real good beginner split that we've come up with at MassiveJoes.com, is you could do Monday, train chest, Tuesday, train back, Wednesday, train your quads and glutes, Thursday, train deltoids, shoulders, Friday, train your arms, your biceps, your triceps, Saturday, train your hamstrings and calves, and Sunday is a rest day. And if you set it up like that, if you actually go and write it down, I've got it written down here, that's what I was just reading off. If you get it and write it down, you'll see that you train chest on Monday, you indirectly hit delts, but they don't get trained until Tuesday. You indirectly hit triceps, they don't get trained until Friday. You train your back on Tuesday, so your back is directly trained on Tuesday. You also hit biceps, but it's all good because your biceps don't get hit directly until Friday. The last one is your quads. So you train quads on Wednesday, which indirectly hits hamstrings, but that's all good because your hamstrings don't get hit until that following Saturday. So you're allowing yourself enough rest for muscle groups that get indirectly hit before directly hitting them again. That's when those muscle groups are going to rest, repair, rebuild. That's when you're going to build muscle. So that's the golden rule when setting up your training split. That's just an example that you can use if you like. Or you can set up your own, just keep in mind that direct and indirectly hitting different muscle groups. In terms of exercises, sets and reps, look, the best way to train when you're trying to build muscle is in what we call the muscle hypertrophy range. So general rule of thumb is per workout, hit anywhere between 4 to 6 exercises. Within those exercises, you're looking for 3 to 4 working sets, and each of those working sets should be 8 to 12 reps. I'm gonna say that again just in case you missed it because it's really important. So per workout, anywhere between 4 to 6 exercises. You've got your exercises planned out. For each exercise, you wanna aim between 3 and 4 sets, working sets, so it doesn't include warm-up sets, it's actual working sets, and you want to aim for each of those sets anywhere between 8 and 12 reps. So you want your muscles to fail between 8 and 12 reps. Another really important point is when I say working sets, I'm talking about muscle failure, every single working set. So don't go in there Pick a weight for, say you're doing bench press, you're training chest, your first exercise is bench press. Don't get up in the gym and do yourself 12 reps on your first set without failing and count that as a working set. That's not a working set, that's a warm-up set. You should be failing between 8 to 12 reps on each and every single one of your 3 to 4 working sets. Most important thing, you have to push your muscles past what they want to do, which means pushing them to failure with each and every working set that you do. You have to do that. That's going to cause your body to rebuild and re-heal muscle tissue, and combined with your calorie surplus, it's going to help you build muscle. If you're not pushing your muscles to failure on each and every working set, you're not going to make as good gains as you possibly could following this bulking plan. The next thing with training is, and we get asked this all the time, is how long should you be training for? How long per workout? We did an MJ Q&A episode on this not too long ago, and my opinion on it was train until you feel tired, pretty much. I mean, there's a bunch of research on testosterone production and cortisol levels and hormones and all of that kind of stuff during training. Man, train as long as you can train until you feel exhausted. That's my general rule. That's my general thoughts on it. A general rule of thumb is keep your workouts below 90 minutes. So no longer than an hour and a half as actual intense exercise. Of course, if you're training with your mates and you got a spotter and you're talking and you're Facebooking and Instagramming while you train, you know, 90 minutes is not really 90 minutes of work. So train, get your workouts done, train until you feel tired and you can't train anymore. And last thing with training is cardio. We get asked about cardio in the off season or cardio when you're trying to bulk or build muscle all the time. Look, if you are going to do cardio in the off season, you just have to keep in mind that cardio is going to burn calories and it's going to increase your calorie expenditure. So maintenance calories, calorie intake, you go surplus. If you start doing cardio, your maintenance calories is going to come up. So you need to push your surplus up once again. Cardio burns calories. You have to account for those calories when you're trying to plan your calorie surplus. So if you're going to do it in the off season when you bulk, absolutely go for it, do it. You know, if you play a sport or whatever that involves cardio, fantastic, do it. Just account for it when you're figuring out your calorie surplus. So that's pretty much training. The last thing that we have to discuss is supplementation, because everybody asks what are the most important supplements when you're trying to build muscle, when you're trying to bulk. Look, in order of priority, and this is my personal opinion as someone who's worked in the supplement industry for almost 10 years, my order of priority with supplements when you're trying to build muscle, first most important supplement is not really a supplement, it's a food substitute, is your protein powder. So get yourself a good protein powder that's going to fit into your diet. It just makes it easier getting your proteins, carbs and fats and your overall calorie intake in every single day, not having to eat enormous amounts of whole foods to do that. So a good protein powder that fits into your diet. I'm a big fan of casein protein before bed when you're building muscle, when you're trying to bulk. In fact, I take casein protein pretty much year round. That's a slow digesting protein that you take before bed. It's going to help keep you anabolic during the night, a constant flow of amino acids while you sleep, so while you're not eating, while you're fasting. So I'm a big fan of protein powder, big fan of casein protein before bed. That's your first priority. Your second priority is your intra-workout supplement. So your branched chain amino acid supplement, in particular, if you can get a good branched chain amino acid supplement that has carbohydrates in it, even better for intra-workout, because you get all kinds of awesome hormone response and insulin response in particular. Keeps your insulin levels up, keeps your cortisol or your stress hormone levels down, and just helps you train harder for longer. And make sure you're not breaking down muscle tissue, the branched chain amino acids. Make sure you're not breaking down muscle tissue during your workouts. So a good intra-workout with carbohydrates, or if it doesn't have carbohydrates, get yourself a good intra-workout and then get yourself a good intra-workout carb and combine them together. That's your second priority. Your third priority is pretty much on par. You should be looking at a good creatine supplement, a good multivitamin, and a good fish oil. Creatine is going to help your body synthesize adenosine triphosphate, which is what your body uses for energy when it taps into the phosphate energy system, which is the energy system your body uses when you're lifting weights. Your multivitamin is just going to keep you healthy, making sure you're getting all the vitamins and minerals you need. And then your fish oil is a fantastic source of essential fatty acids that I take myself year round as well. That's your third on your priority list for supplements when you're trying to build muscle. And then from then on, man, just throw all the other supplements in together. So you can look at your test boosters, your pre-workouts, your post-workout recovery formulas, man. The list is endless. You guys know the supplement list is endless. Your top threes are protein powder, your intra-workouts with carbohydrates, and then your creatine, your multivitamin, your fish oil. Everything else comes after that. Make sure that you have those 3 supplements in your arsenal when you're trying to build muscle, because the effect on your gains and the effect on your results is going to be phenomenal. It's going to help you on track, keep on track as well, making sure that you're getting the most out of your bulking program. So guys, look, that is just a real simple introduction to how to bulk, right? From diet, we started with diet, we moved on to training, we moved on to the real basics of supplements. I didn't take a lot of time speaking about supplements because these videos are not a sales pitch video. These videos are information based. Supplements are a big part of it, but they're not as important as dieting and training. And that's coming from someone who runs a supplement company to make a living. This is what I do, this is my life. You gotta have your diet, you gotta have your training down pat. So guys, look, that is pretty much Massive Joe's thoughts. You know what? I'm gonna call this the bulking Bible. We're gonna go with the bulking Bible. That is how to bulk within less than 30 minutes, giving you a little bit of an insight into how to set your diet up, how to set your training regime up, and the most important supplements to help you reach your muscle gain goals. If you've got any questions about this video, or there's something that you want me to elaborate on, or there's something that you didn't understand, look, the best way to do it is actually to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we're gonna put a subscribe button up on the screen right now. It usually appears right here. So this is the subscribe button. If you wanna click this, man, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then once you've done that, you can comment on these videos. Obviously, we're gonna post this video all over the place, so it'll be on Facebook, it'll be on MassiveJoes.com, but the best way to keep comments linked to videos, and the best way for us to answer those comments, is just to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit us with a comment to this video directly. And then once you've done that, the other beautiful thing about YouTube is that everyone else can see that comment. So everyone else can see any questions that you may have that a lot of other people may have as well, maybe a common question. We can answer it down in the comment section to this video and then give everybody the answer as well. Guys, look, thank you so much for tuning in. If you've got any questions that you want us to answer in this particular segment, in MJ's Thoughts, AKA Massive Joe's Thoughts, just drop us an email at sales@massivejoes.com, or hit us up on our Facebook page, hit us up on our Instagram page, drop us an email at qa@massivejoes.com, it doesn't matter. Communicate with us. We would love to hear from you. Guys, that is the very first edition of MJ's Thoughts, Massive Joe's Thoughts, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com.